Today I am changing my mandolin strings, and I am going to be testing out the D'Addario XS strings for mandolin. I'm actually super excited to try these strings. I've heard really good things about them. Honestly, I haven't tried just a ton of mandolin strings, so I will give you guys all my thoughts about these, what I think, how long they last, how they play, how they feel, how they sound, all that good stuff. So, but first I have to actually put them on my mandolin, which is my least favorite part, but it's okay. My mandolin really needs new strings, like really bad. Really needs new strings. Here is a before of what my mandolin sounds like. It's at that point where it won't even stay in tune, so that definitely means that I need to change the strings. Here is packaging. 10 out of 10 for packaging. For sure they say D'Addario XS, phosphor bronze, maximum life, smooth feel. They give you a list of all the strings and then everything about the strings, so that's really helpful. Also, do not judge me changing my strings. Am I good at it? I don't know. I'm probably average, honestly. I'm like, sometimes the A strings, they just slip so much. If you guys change your own strings, and then you know what I mean. So sometimes I struggle with the A string, getting that wound up tightly, but just gonna do my best and see how it goes. Okay, my mandolin strings have been changed officially. So yeah, here is a little preview of what they sound like. Of course, they're very ringy. They're completely new strings, so they'll maybe take a couple days to really settle in. Right off the bat, I will say that these strings, I don't know if it was just me trying to change strings this time or what, but they were really slippery, and that just kind of made it hard to work with. I had a really hard time working with them. Now, is that my error? Maybe. Or is it the strings? I don't know. They're different. They're different than what I'm used to. So I will say that they were a little bit hard to work with as far as actually just getting them on the mandolin, but we will see how they play, how they wear, how they sound, all that good stuff as time progresses. Just a quick little disclaimer that these are coated strings. So I had never used coated strings before, and coated strings basically just means that they have an extra protective layer around them to help them wear better. And so some of the thoughts that you might hear in the remainder of this video might be because I never used coated strings before. Guys, it has almost been a whole entire month since I have put on the D'Addario XS strings, and I have to say, I've kind of been surprised by them, honestly. So just for reference, in the past, I have used labella strings, and then I've also just used, this is embarrassing, should know what strings I've used before. Okay, here we go. The Martin & Co. mandolin strings. So I've used those. I guess those are the main two brands that I've used in the past. So these have really surprised me. Like I said, it's been a whole month, and I feel like they are holding up a little bit better than my previous strings. So I'll go ahead and play a little bit of what my mandolin sounds like. I think I played St. Anne's Reel before, so I'll play that again just so that we can compare the tone of how they're holding up. I know it's almost been a month. I still feel like they have a really good sustain in them. I still hear them ringing out a lot. And I will say, so when I first switched to these strings, they took some getting used to. I feel like specifically the E string and the A string felt a little bit more muted than the strings that I had used in the past. And I don't know if muted is the right word, but that's kind of what it felt like to my ears, because I'd been used to a little bit more of a brighter string before. So these sounded a little bit more muted, but after about a week of playing with them, I got used to that sound, and I really like it now. The pros, actually have a lot of pros to these strings. So, like I said, I mean, I've been playing on these for a month, and they still sound really, really great, which is awesome. They don't sound dull yet, and some of you may be like, well, you should change your strings more often. Honestly, I don't. I change my strings maybe once every 3-4 months. That might be bad, unless I have something coming up where I'm recording or something, but generally speaking, yeah, I wait a while before I change my strings, so that's really comforting to know that these are gonna last me quite a while. I mean, a month in and they still sound great. So I'm very, very pleased with that. The other thing that I have really enjoyed with these strings is my ability to slide on them. They're a lot easier to slide on. So for instance, like there's a little riff in a song. That little riff that I was working on was so much easier to play. The slides, they just come naturally. My fingers can just easily slide up the strings, slide down the strings. They sound really smooth, as opposed to before. I don't know, they just didn't sound like that. It was not as easy just to slide up and down the strings. So that's been something that I've been really pleased with. I have not had any trouble with pressing them down or anything like that. I also have not had any trouble with the intonation slipping, or I mean with the tuning of them not staying in tune. They stayed in tune great, even though I didn't do the best job of putting the strings on. They have stayed in tune very, very nicely, you know, just besides moving the instrument into different rooms and different places and just, you know, the natural weather outside changing. But for the most part, the strings have done a very good job when it has come to that. I really like the tone, so I'm excited to keep going with these strings. I will continue to keep you guys updated. Say they have held up amazingly. Honestly, they've surprised me. I did not think that I was going to like them this much when I purchased them, and so they've held their tone great. My mandolin has stayed in tune a lot better than when I've gotten some other strings. They seem to not wear as much. I probably should be better about wiping down my strings after I play. In my mind, I always think, oh, I should do that, and then I don't do that. So that is a tip. You can always wipe down your strings after you play them. Don't be like me. Do it and don't forget to do it like I always do. But anyway, these strings have held up very, very nicely. And so if you are in the market for new mandolin strings, 10 out of 10 would recommend these. I'm definitely going to be purchasing them again. I probably need to change my strings soon. I'm gonna get as much life out of them as I possibly can, because, you know, but if you are in the market for strings, highly recommend these. They have been amazing. So yeah, even though they might be a little bit more pricey, I think they're worth it. And even going into it, I was kind of like, you know, I don't know if I want to spend that much on strings, because the strings I had been getting were considerably cheaper than these specific strings. But I don't know, guys, I think it's worth it. I think it is. Also, you know, depending on how much you play the mandolin, how much you record with it, you play out with it, all of that kind of stuff. But for me, 10 out of 10. Absolutely love these strings. I'm gonna keep trying more in the future. So they're in the description. Go get yourself some. This is not sponsored, by the way. Not sponsored at all. I just love these strings. So until I find strings better than these are gonna be my go-to strings. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Other strings that I should try. I would so be interested in your thoughts about that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe for more content like this every single week. And I will see you guys in my next video.